Hi, my name is Fernando Rios, and today I will be talking to you a little bit about myself. I hope you enjoyed this video. If not, then you at least learned something new today. I am currently 15 years old and live in a city called Bell Gardens. In Bell Gardens, I have been a resident since I was 3.5 years old. Bell Gardens has been my home for over 10 years. Sure, it may not be the #1 city, but it's a place where I feel safe and comfortable. Many people consider Bell Gardens to be a ghetto city. Someday I wish to come back to my community and find a way to contribute to it. Right now I am currently active in a youth club known as Youth in Action. We focus on environmental racism and pollution. We are currently involved in exide and other pollutions. I come from a small place with very big dreams. One of my dreams is to study physics and become a physicist. This dream came through me through Albert Einstein, my #1 hero. He pushed me to learn more about the laws that govern our universe and how it affects our life. Another subject I'm interested in besides physics is engineering. I don't know which step in engineering I want, whether biological engineer or an electrical engineer, but I will figure it out when I get to it. To reach my career, I will have to study at university. Some schools that I'm interested are Caltech, UCLA, and UC San Diego. There are other in mind, but those are the top. I was originally born in Mexico on July 13. I was born in a small state called Hidalgo in southern Mexico. In Hidalgo, I was a resident there for 3.5 years before moving to California. Right. So the first question is, what made you get interested in physics?
I was always interested in math and science. I always did well in school in those subjects. My father was an engineer, so I didn't know exactly what I was going to study at university until I got there, but I knew it was going to be something in science and engineering. And physics spoke to me. Physics is a fundamental science, and it complemented a lot of the math that I was taking, so it was a natural pick.
Okay. Second question would be, do you ever regret doing physics?
Absolutely not. No. Physics has opened a lot of doors for me. Once again, when you're studying university and the subject matter that you choose, when you choose a challenging subject matter like that, it not only do you learn the material itself, but you also learn a lot about yourself, because you're forced to learn and understand a great deal of complex material, and in doing so, it allowed me a more educated outlook on how the world works and the physics and the science behind things. It's like I said, it's the fundamental science, and I have never regretted my decision to pursue physics as an undergraduate.
All right. Third one would be, knowing how hard physics is. Did you ever feel like giving up?
Never. I mean, I felt discouraged a time or two, but never felt like giving up. Again, this was something that interested me greatly. I understood the value of it. It gave purpose for a lot of the mathematics that I was taking. So it was challenging, but like we say, there's no such thing that nothing is hard. It's just unfamiliar, and you need to kind of commit yourself and give yourself over to the study of that. And so again, I mean, there were times of great frustration and whatnot, but nothing that I didn't eventually overcome.
Okay. If you wouldn't chosen physics as a subject to study, what other subject interested you?
Well, it certainly would have been something technical. It would have been mathematics or perhaps engineering. My father was he was originally an industrial engineer in petroleum, and then got into electronics engineering later on in his career. So I had that as a role model for me. I knew I wanted to do something in that area. Biology didn't have the same appeal to me as, say, physics or engineering. Maybe chemistry might have been in there, but again, I really enjoyed physics and math, so that probably would have been my angle. Now, I did study, of course, education afterwards. I graduated with an undergraduate degree in physics and a minor in mathematics, and then I decided I wanted to be a teacher. I then had to go back to school. I had to go back to grad school and take those courses to become a teacher. So I did pursue another area, but it was wrapped around teaching and learn science education.
Okay, and any advice to someone who wants to take physics as a career?
Physics or any of the technical subjects, whether it's physics, mathematics, biology, any of the sciences or engineering, my advice is that you're going to, well, one, take as much math as you possibly can. Math is the language of science, and math is how we express things, math is how we communicate, and in that understanding of math, especially with something like physics that you can apply to it, it puts you at a competitive advantage in learning the mathematics because you now actually have an outlet or an application for the mathematics. So again, take as much math as you can. Give yourself over to those courses. I mean, you can't do this halfway. You can't be, a science or engineering major just sort of halfway. Perhaps there's other majors out there that afford you more time to do maybe other things. Again, in my undergraduate degree, was far more difficult than what I pursued in graduate school. And my physics, again, that burden, if you will, of learning the material and being familiar with it and understanding it. When it comes to other things in life, I mean, it really prepared me well. So just be willing to work, be willing to understand, make sure it's something that you enjoy, that's something that you want to do. Because again, there's lots of folks that think they're going to be doctors or lawyers, things like that, and they find themselves halfway through med school or law school and they find out that they hate it. So I had the advantage that I really enjoyed what I was studying, and that made it all the more worthwhile for me.
Okay. And the final question is, what do you think is the hardest part of learning physics, and then how did you overcome it when you were younger?
Well, again, I'd say the hardest part, the most important part is that applications, making sure that what you want to do, making sure that physics is something that you want to do. So in overcoming those obstacles, you've got a built-in motivation to say, well, this is something I want, or this is something I want to figure out. So with that, nobody made me study physics. My parents and my friends never said that you have to do this, you have to do this. This was my choice. And I chose it because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it because I liked it. So in overcoming things, again, whether it's frustration or I want to quit or something like that, I mean, I didn't want to quit. I always wanted to do it, so I never wanted to quit it. So in overcoming those things, again, math helps, communicating with your professors helps, seeing some sort of application for it. I had the advantage that when I went through my program at USC, there were just a few other physics majors, so we got into labs. We instead of doing what was called a senior lab at the time, we were actually assigned to different working lab groups. And part of it, my lab partner and I, we wound up earning the Dean's Award for undergraduate research. I mean, that was an incredible honor that we got. And again, we were doing stuff that we found interesting, we enjoyed. It was difficult work. I mean, don't get me wrong, it wasn't just fun and games, but we certainly had the opportunity to do things that other people didn't, and it was interesting. We got to work on stuff that flew in space. We got to work with lasers. We got to work with low temperature physics. We got to do stuff evaporating thin films. It was all very interesting stuff. And it showed us an application of what we were doing. So again, whether it's a science career or a physics career you're pursuing, whatever you're doing, it's got to be something that you want to do and something that you find interesting. So again, my advice is you don't have to worry about those things if it's something that you really want to do.
All right.